Hello everyone, we'll continue streams now. Where was I? Filters, right? So now we do terminal operations. So a terminal operation finishes the stream. For example, for each is terminal. Let me see whether. So the professor has mentioned all match, any match, collect, count, find first, for each, max, min, none match, to list. So these are the main terminal operations. All match will return, I think it will return a boolean. Yep, all match returns a boolean. So you give it a predicate. A predicate, if you remember, it's a lambda function that will return true or false. So all match it takes in a bunch of it takes in a bunch of the stream objects, and it will try this function on all of them. So so an example would be returning whether every country in the stream is independent or not. So a country has the independent tag. So what you will do is go through each country, and you do like a get all the stream dot all match. So the stream will put all those countries in a stream, and all match will take this country dot independent. And by the way, here it's not a lambda function, this predicate. It's because let me get this the repository. Wait, let me pause sharing so I can open my email. Mm. So in the lab test, you will have the markdown source code. Source code of this package. I'm going to clone this repository so that I can actually look at the source file. Maybe to zoom as well. Okay, so this is a repository that we will have in the exam stream program. Source, Java, countries, this package. So you can see here that each country has a Boolean independent. So in this stream, and the country repository just gets, by the way, there is a difference between a GitHub repository and this repository. So in programming, a repository is something that stores something. So a database, for example, is a repository. When you develop Spring Boot applications, you will have repository, you will have services, you will have proxies, and all that stuff. So a repository is what you use to access a database from Java. So country repository is simulating a real program where you will be getting the countries from an API or from a database. So that's why they're making you use the repository. But yeah. That's that for the terminal operations here. So you can see all match does that. It just matches every single thing. And you know what? I'll just give a small example right now. I'll create a list of names, and the names can be, let's say all of them start with S. And I want to check if the names, all of the names start with S. So this is just a variable, just to show that any match or all match. I'm talking about terminal operations, and the first one is all match. So this is how all match is used. All match and any match. All match will check if every single object in the stream that is passed to it, it will check if all of those objects match the predicate. Any match will check if there is only one element that matches the predicate. So both of these. But I won't be able to cover everything today. So my goal is to, for the people who have it tomorrow, that's why I'm teaching the basics. So as long as you know the basics, you should pass. Because I can only do it until 7, then I have to go study computer security. So you do names dot stream, turn it into a stream, and then you do all match. Now all match, what do you want to match? You want to match where x dot, by the way, you can use starts with or caret or charet, whatever, however you pronounce it. So here I'll use starts with, and starts with what? S. So this will return a Boolean. See, Boolean. It's a final terminal operation. So then we can just print all names start with S. This. So let's see if it's true or not. It is true. What if instead of Sadman, let's say Spencer's name started with something else? Hmm. Spencer. It will be false now. So that's all match. Any match would just mean that any one of them start with S, it comes as true. So instead of all match, try any match. Starts with true. Count counts how many there are in the stream. So here it will return 3. Find first will return the first element that matches the. You can either give it the predicate or it will just be find first. For each, you will do it for every element. You've already seen it. Maximum chooses the largest, minimum chooses the smallest. You can give them comparators to show them like in what criteria are you using to find out the max. None match is like any and all match, but like no, if even one of the elements pass it, it will return false. To list will just return a list. So the reason I'm going fast through these is because I want to start doing the examples. And once I explain the examples, you will understand everything. So I think, mm, yeah, that's pretty much it. I will explain flat map right now. Flat map is something that might confuse you. So let's see. So flat map is used to convert like multiple dimensions into one small dimension. So suppose you have a list, right? You have this. Now, if you don't understand it, it's all right. So it's like the internal is a list and it's stored in a list. So it's like a nested array. There's an array and the first array is like 1, 2, 3. Let's say there's 2 arrays. One is the array of even numbers. Another is the array of odd numbers, like that. So what you want to do is you want to convert this to a single array that goes like 2, 4, 6, 1, 3, 5. You want to do this. So streams are similar to how arrays work or any collection. So this is what stream is used for. A real life example that you will have to use in the tests is every country has a list of time zones, right? So there's like each country has multiple time zones. So I guess it could be like list. I don't know what I don't know what the unit they're using for time zones, so I'm just gonna assume it's a string. So this every country object, like country object, has this, and you have a stream of countries. So the for if you want, like the goal is to have a stream of time zones, just time zones. So first you have a stream of countries, then you do dot map, and you map each country to get the country's time zone. So you will understand it when I actually do the code. So stream dot map, and you do this will transform the stream and it will grab the time zone of every country. So it will pass in a bunch of country objects, and once mat.map has done executing, this will basically be time zones, but a list of time zones. So like a bunch of lists of the time zones. Does it make sense this far? This is the most confusing part when it comes to streams. So it's all right. If you have questions, let me know. No? Okay, I'm gonna assume everybody understood. Yeah, I'll do that. After I explain flat map, I'll go through the examples. I'm just figuring out how do I run code here. Do I create the main class here? Okay. And let me see if it works. Okay, it works. We're getting the countries. That's good. Yeah, you can see we have a bunch of country objects here. All right, so I can use this for my examples from now on. So you can see that each country here, I don't know if you can see it clearly. Let's start with Afghanistan. So it has name, capital, region, population, area, translations, and time zones. So looks like Afghanistan only has one time zone, but a bigger country, for example, this one is Antarctica. Antarctica has a ton of time zones. So you can see that each country has its own list of time zones. But what if you just want one array with all the time zones in the world? So first off, I'll show you like how to get the list of time zones of each country. So let me just create a list of countries here to make it easy. I'll just get all the countries is equal to my report dot get all. Wait, I have a feeling I used the wrong list. Okay, I used the wrong list. So list country list is equal to mm, my report dot get all. So now we'll be using this for our examples. So right now, first we get the time zones. So for that, we do country list dot stream dot, and if you want to, we have a list of countries, and we want to transform this stream into just a stream of the time zone lists. So of course, transformations, you have to do map, and what do you do? You get a country, and what do you do to the country? You just take the country's uh, time zones, and that's all. And I know it says that replace lambda with method reference like this. You can absolutely do this, but I'm old-fashioned and I prefer the other part. But you know what? Since this is what the professor recommends, we'll go with this. So just to show you guys what has happened, I will print each of this so you can see what it's supposed to do. It's going to print all of the time zone lists. So for each country, it takes its time zone list. See? UTC. This one has a bunch of time zones, so it has an array. All of these are arrays, but these arrays have one member. These arrays have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 members. So what you want to do is collapse all of these in one array. So that is where flat map is used. So you would do flat map collection, I think like this, collection stream. And now all of it is in one stream. So the reason they are all in new lines, you can see every single time zone is in a new line. See? The reason they are in a new line is because I'm using print line instead of print line. If I do print, it will just print it all in one single line. Look. But are you understanding what I'm doing here? If you understand this stuff, then the rest is going to be way easier for you guys. So does anybody have a question about this? I would say this is one of the most important concepts to learn when dealing with objects in a stream. Yeah. Were you here when I explained flat map, Ricardo? Or you joined late? This is flat map. Flat map, suppose you have a nested collection, right? There's inside collections and you want to collapse it all in one dimension. That's what flat map does, basically this. So if you have like a list of lists and you just want it to be a list of strings, you use flat map. Yeah, like join. But join is for like joining strings, right? Flat map, it breaks the component, it breaks the what do you say? Breaks the object, like it breaks the inner arrays and just takes out. You can do it with a for loop, but flat map is easier, and it just joins the results. Just watch the video when I upload it because I did it step by step. So now you have a flat map of the time zones and you can just print line all of them. And that's all I think. Map, the flat map. So you saw first we had to get the time zones from each country. And again, this shows that you can combine multiple intermediary methods. So map, and then I pass that stream into flat map, and then I just printed it all out. So let's look at another problem now. And I think, yeah, that's all. Now I can start solving the problem. So there's some comparators, and you should already know what all of it is. So assignments. Let's start with this. Prints the country names. So I guess I will do like three, and somebody mentioned average. So let's start with the first one. Print every country's name. That should be easy enough. So I have all the countries in the country list. So I do country list dot stream, convert it into a stream, dot map, map to what? Country. Each country has a name, right? That's all. And then I print the name. If you do 28, I don't know what you mean by 28. Can somebody else answer it? Because I haven't really looked at the grading criteria. But they should print the name of each country in a new line. And yes, it does. Because I have no idea how the exam is going to be. The Monday batch, they will be able to tell the people who have the exam tomorrow. Here it says print the capital of each country in alphabetical order. So here it says nulls first. So comparator dot nulls first. That just means that the null values, it will keep it first, and then it will, then it will sort the other ones. And sorted, of course, I explained it before. Sorted just means like you sort it. So the capital will be its stream, right? In a country, let's see. Yeah, the capital is a string, so it can be sorted easily. So you want to print the capitals out in alphabetical order, and you want to keep the nulls first. So of course, first you map it to only the capitals, capital dot sorted, and here you want to make it, let's say, natural order, right? The alphabetical order, the natural order. However, it wants the nulls to be first. So you wrap this in parentheses and you do comparator dot nulls first. So this will nulls first will take the result of this and then arrange the nulls to be first. And then I guess you could go like for each and print it all out. Let's see. So you can see that the nulls are all first. I guess it's like 5 countries that don't have a capital. And then all the other capitals are in alphabetical order. If they say like, descending order, then instead of natural order, you do reverse order and you run it. Nulls will still be first, but C A is at the end. Peter used nulls last in class. That's fine as well. Nulls first, instead of that, you can just do nulls last, and you can see that the nulls will be at the end. There you go. It's just modular, like you have to put, how are we supposed to execute the commands? So the commands, the Maven commands are from here. You can just run them from here by going life cycle. and you have all the commands. But I don't think in the exam you're gonna have to, do Maven commands. You will have to do Git commands, which I already explained in the first video. They're pretty easy. So that's that for this problem. Now let's go to something more harder. Return the maximum population. So here map to long will map all of these to long. Like, long is the data type. This, yeah, you do that in J shell if you want to run, queries inside the shell. It's not really necessary. If you want to practice, don't run queries inside the shell and just write them like I'm doing in main. Yeah, no problem. So this population average map to long, it will just change this stream into like longs. You could just return the population or you could do long. Long is another type of, it's a type of data, just like integer. Okay, so dot average. Tane wanted an average, right? So here, let's return the population average of the countries. By the way, map to long isn't even needed. I think you can just take the population of each country. The reason they use map to long, I think, is because this is a primitive long. But let's give it a shot. Why not? So the country list, we turn it into a stream, and then we want to take the population. So we do country population, and we want to average it out. So we can see here that average does not work. Well, it does here. So I think average only works on a stream of integer, longs, or doubles. While in this case, it gives a generic string. So I guess here we have to do map to long. And you can see that map to long will return a long stream instead of just a generic stream. So that was the key. And now we can run the average method. That's why they were using map to long. So that's why I tried the first one first to show you why we're using map to long and what to do if you hit that error. So now we take average and we just print it out, I guess. So I can just do like get as. So average will return a double. So you can see you go to average, it returns a double. Well, it returns an optional double. So that's another thing. You have to see like the return type. So an optional is a value that can or cannot have a value, like if it might have a value or it might not. So on optionals, you will always have to call the get or just do get as double. So just do like double. So they should print the population and it is. The average population is 3.1. I guess it's like a million or something. Or there's actually 3.1 people in the country. But yeah, I think it's in million. All right, so that's how average works. Oh, they even use get as double. So it's all good. Summary statistics. Okay, that's an interesting one. Summary statistics is like it has average and average, I think maximum, minimum, all that. So it's an object. It will be, I think, int summary statistics, double summary statistics, something. But this is something you can practice. It's not hard to understand. Mm. Prints all the countries with a population below 100. Is, like the filter I explained. This inside is the predicate. Country where the country dot population is smaller than 100. And then he just prints out each of those. Let's go to the hardest ones in the number one. Prints the capital of each country in ascending order of length and then in alphabetical order. Okay, this is a hard one. So first you convert the countries into a stream, then you map the capitals. So now the stream is only of the capitals of the countries. And then it says sorted. Okay. So it looks very confusing at first, but let me break it down. So this is the requirement. Prints the capital of each country in ascending order of length and then in alphabetical order. And I guess they should say it in the question like here. It says beware the capital might be null, so you have to deal with nulls. So let's just say we will keep the nulls first. So the first thing we do is convert the countries to a stream. So once they are in a stream, the second thing we do is we map it to the capital of each country. And now we have a stream of capitals. Now this is where the sorting begins. So we do dot sorted. And inside sorting, we give all the sorting logic. We can, by the way, I can press enter in the middle and it's just easier to read. So the first thing you do is you compare them ascending order of length. So that would be comparator dot natural order. No. Natural order would be strings. Like here, if I do just comparator to natural order, it will just sort all of them in alphabetical order. So since they want ascending order of length, we have to do comparator dot comparing int because the length of a string is integer. So comparator dot comparing int, and we pass in the length. So I think it's string length. Yep, it's string length. So comparator dot comparing int string length. So right now this will sort all of these in just ascending order of length. But if we want, like after this, we want to compare it using another criteria, then we have to use dot, then comparing, and then pass in the natural order. So dot natural order. And then since we have nulls last, so we wrap this whole thing inside parentheses. By the way, if you select something and you press the brackets, it will wrap it all inside parentheses. And then we have to do comparator dot nulls last or nulls first, whatever is required. And yeah, that's it for sorting. Then you can just print all of them and it should work. So it says that print the capital of each country in ascending order of length. So you can see ascending order of length. But you can see that like these capitals that have the same amount of letters in them, then it starts comparing them based on alphabetical order, and the nulls are first. There you go. So is there any question about this? Like first, try breaking down the simplest part, and then you build up from there. So it looks very confusing, but once I broke it down, that first you compare the integer, which is the length, then you compare it with the natural order, and then you wrap it all with nulls first. So is there any questions? The meeting will end in 1 minute, and then I will start the next one, which will be the last meeting. So for the next one, I will just speed run the second and like the second streams thing, and the third one I will just do collect. But actually, in the next meeting, I will cover collect. So if there are no questions, then I'll end this stream.